One of the best things to come out from China is the design of sedans. In the last few years, we've seen the death of things as boring as the Toyota Camry, instead replaced by amazing looking cars, such as the one I'm driving right now. This is the EXLANTIX, if that's how you say it, ES, and this really ushers in another new wave of amazing looking EVs. But is it all looks and no trousers? We're going to find out. My name's Alex Richards, and welcome to the EXLANTIX ES. They need to work on that name. For me, Chery are like a sleeping dragon, finally waking up to good design, good performance and good quality. And they're expanding massively over the next few years overseas. And there's some cars from them which I'm really, really excited about. And this, the EXLANTIX ES, is probably the most exciting of all. Who doesn't want 800-volt architecture, a 0 to 60 time of around 4 seconds, good quality premium sedan? I mean, look at it, it's unbelievable. This is kind of Chery's second coming, and it's something that I'm really looking forward to finding out more about. So let's see if this really can match my expectations or if it's just a bit of a letdown. I have to say, the design of this really ushers in a new era of CDM, or Chinese domestic market. Like JDM in the 90s had that kind of fluid, really nice style. The chicken agrees with me in the background. We're seeing this kind of new Chinese style, and the EXLANTIX really shows that off as well. That singular light bar, no big grille, which defines a lot of legacy automakers' cars. But down here, really interesting LED lights which flash like a Magaluf nightclub with a fuse box problem. Probably not going to make it over to Europe for various legal reasons. Coming around here, they've got the wheel design just right. The right size, the right design. A little bit of red brake caliper just popping out behind there makes this look unbelievable. These guys in Zeekr have got the wheel design absolutely nailed. Coming down the side, I do like the profile of this car. Let me just unlock it. It feels a bit like an Audi A7, so kind of going that premium fastback market. I love these kind of gills down here, which make it feel much more aggressive and fluid on the side profile. But coming back here, bit Neo ET7, I think, around here on this part. It's okay. But this is a really good part, very Audi A7, but it's the retractable wing which comes up. Kind of dictates this is a premium, fast sedan. It's a stunning looking car in real life, and I think it's going to give a lot of people a shock when it comes to market in Europe. It's been said it's going to come to a Scandinavian country later this year, I don't know which one, but seeing this pop up on the shores of that country, there's going to be lots of concerned folks in German boardrooms. Now, you may be wondering about how this car drives, and I can tell you now, it's fairly spectacular. This has got like Germanic levels of ride comfort. It's actually really surprising, and I've surprised even myself. I came into this review with some expectations, thinking, oh, you know, this might be like this or whatever, but Chery have somehow made a really, really competent car, which is staggering to drive. Like, the levels of ride comfort going over the bumps and the feeling of solidity on the road is staggering. Now, a lot of that is down to the electromagnetic damping. Basically, it adjusts the suspension feeling depending on the type of surface that you're on. And I can tell you what, the car is so much better for it because it just feels planted, like really planted to the road. One complaint I do have is that indicator is exceptionally loud. I think I'm going to go deaf in this ear. But in terms of like the steering feel, the braking, I said this before, that's so loud, but that feels like a German automaker's car. It feels really solidly built, no rattles, no creaks, extremely quiet in here thanks to the double pane glass. That's unusual. Now we're going around the corner, probably a little bit too fast, but in terms of it staying flat and staying solid on the road, it does a really good job. I'm actually really surprised. If a German automaker came out with this car but just changed the badge, I would think, okay, yeah, it's a German car. But I wouldn't expect this from Chery. How have they done this? Magic?
Magic.
If I may for a moment talk about the boot and the rear end of this car. So it's, let's unlock the car. The wing comes up, that's beautiful. We can open the boot like this. Now, at the time of filming this, we don't know how many litres this boot space actually is. Maybe we'll flash it up on screen if we have the information. And although it's deep, there's no false floor. So I think maybe it'd fit 3 medium-sized suitcases in there, but this is sort of a little bit of a letdown. But what this car is really all about is sitting in the back as a business executive and being driven about with your one piece of luggage. So let's go and see what that luxury interior is really all about. You know what? It's hard to know where to start in here, whether it's the automatic closing door or the acres and acres of leather and wood and everything else in here. It's got really premium material, like Alcantara-esque material up here. I've got automatic charging for my phone with a fan to keep it cool so it charges and doesn't melt the battery. Now on the Chinese version, this comes with Harmony OS. This one today is the export version, doesn't come with the same OS, it's based on Android Auto, so we can't really see the Huawei features of that car, but the screen is very responsive, very big, and really easy to use. Now in terms of in here, I've got all my metal buttons, I've got my wood, I've got my lovely speakers. I do have an issue with a couple of the plastics in here which are a bit cheap. This is extremely cheap plastic here. It's already marked and scuffed and doesn't look very good. This is made from the same material. Now in here, loads and loads of space. I've got premium opening things there. I've got metally bits down here. I've got loads of space underneath here. You know, they've packed in so much in here. The comfort levels are high. This does feel like a premium German saloon. And it kind of takes these electric cars from Chinese automakers into another dimension. I wouldn't expect someone like Chery to come out with a premium model and hit it off the bat with the first attempt. It's really staggering how they've actually done that. So whilst we're just waiting to go through the toll booth, this has a drag coefficient of 0.205, and you think, so what? Most cars are pretty drag efficient today in these days, but that helps to have a really high efficiency rating. So it does 100 kilometers and only uses 11.7 kilowatt hours, which is amazing. That's getting very low. I mean, the Envo that I saw the other week, that was over 12. This is already below that in a sedan which is nearly 5 meters long. It's really surprising. If I may for a moment, I'd like to talk about the specifications of this car.
I thought there was going to be more than one car, but there is actually only one spec, and that is this. It has a 77 kilowatt hour battery, giving 540 kilometers of CLTC range, which isn't that much, but that's because this is all-wheel drive, and those motors pump out 353 kilowatts of power.
Charging, now obviously very important part of owning an electric car, and the ES is no different. Voila, with the premium opening charging solution. Here we have a European spec plug, which means if we get stuck here in the mountains, we are well and truly buggered because we don't have an adapter. Now, if you have the 800 volt architecture, you can get 150 kilometers of range in just 5 minutes, which is really, really good. And what you expect from a premium sedan, that's all you need. Super fast charging speeds. Now, the great thing about this is it does feel like a great big wafty saloon of a car, which makes it feel much more premium than perhaps it is. It feels really nice when you put your foot on the accelerator. It's very gentle, and we are in eco mode, of course. We put it in stab rat sports mode, it would go like a, yeah, anyway. We're currently on country roads at the moment, so it's quite twisty, and it's handling it very well. You know, you don't feel like you're in a car which is almost 5 meters long with a 3 meter wheelbase. So it does have all of those modes, comfort. It's also got a snow mode. So if this is being used in the north of China where it gets very snowy, or overseas, maybe in Scandinavia where it's very snowy as well in the winter, this has a mode for those road conditions. Now this is really where the back comes into its own, because look at the amount of legroom I have here. Now if I sit normally, that's a gargantuan amount of legroom, and the floor is relatively low. So it's actually very comfortable. My legs are supported here, unlike the Xiaomi SU7 where they're not supported. This is really for passengers enjoying their journey. Now this seat is set up for me, driving in the front, and you know, I'm nearly 6 foot, and a 6 foot person can give this much legroom for the back. That's thanks to that 3 meter exactly wheelbase, which gives acres of room in here. Now, in terms of other features, there's not a great deal. I've got the automatic closing doors, but I do have a screen down here, kind of similar to the Tesla Model 3. I've got my seat heating, I've got my fans, my air conditioning, my music. I can control all of that from down here. A couple of USB-C slots, and then ubiquitous cup holders over here. It's Spartan-ish, but it's kind of all you need for a rear seat. Loads of legroom, and it's a very hot day today, but I can't feel the heat through the roof here, even though it's a full glass screen across the top. Oh my word, it's staggering how they've done that. There's quite a lot of nannying aids in here. So for example, if I take my eyes off the road for too long, it bongs at me and tells me that I'm doing that wrong. If I go over to the other lane, it tells me if I'm doing that, you know, doing that, it bings at me. A little bit too nannying, I think, for perhaps European consumers. They prefer to be in control, don't really like the nannying so much. You can probably turn those off in here. The controls in the system in here is all in English, very easy for me to use, so I could turn those off. But there's a lot of controls based on this screen, so all of your heating controls, climate control is on there, seat control is also on there, steering wheel up and down is on there. See, that was telling me to concentrate and not talk to the camera. So yeah, good safety feature, if a little annoying. And you know what this car really reminds me of? Reminds me of an Audi, something like an Audi A7 or a Neo ET7. It's kind of got that same look and feel, and that premium impression really comes across to me very strongly. Now Audi obviously a little bit late to the electrification game and still lagging a little bit behind. And it's for guys like Chery to come along and take up that mantle and provide premium sedans which look really good, go really well. The issue is, this is such a hot market in China right now. It's going up against the likes of the Xiaomi SU7 alongside the Neo ET5, XPeng. Everyone's got a fast, sporty, fun, technologically advanced sedan. It makes you wonder, how can Chery compete? Wow, that is really nice feeling acceleration. Stop bonging at me. I mean, that's absolutely cracking. For too long, we've been putting up with fetid turds for car design, sedans which are far too boring to be produced and put on the roads, but they have been doing it for many years. Whereas the EXLANTIX, with a different name, should do very well when it goes overseas, if it's at an attractive price point, because it packs such a punch, whether it be the drive, the looks, the architecture, the EV-ness, it's all in this one package. If I was in a German boardroom right now, I'd be extremely worried.